What's cracking YouTube? Now I'm back with another video and everything, and this particular one I wanted to talk about this whole situation with Isaiah Thomas and Michael Jordan, right? Uh, as you all know, there's been some animosity over the years with both Isaiah Thomas and Michael Jordan and shit, right? You know, everything from the bad boy Pistons Chicago Bulls rivalry to deeper shit going on. Isaiah, resenting the fact that Mike became a big star in Chicago and everything, and the politics behind the scenes with everything as far as the Pistons trying to hold Jordan back from his dominance and all that stuff, and Isaiah doing things, questionable shit. You know what I mean? I'm just being honest here, man. You know what I mean? Then Michael Jordan keeping Isaiah off the dream team. I don't know how true that is and shit, right? But yeah, I mean, shit. Yeah, it's just one big rivalry going back and forth. You know what I mean? It seemed like to me some of the bad boy Pistons still resent Mike and the fact, he basically ended their run per se in 1991. You know what I mean? The Bulls were close, them 2 years prior to them finally breaking through in 91 and shit. But, I wanted to dissect this shit. You know, Isaiah made a comment like, yeah, I don't think he made a comment recently, but he keeps reiterating the fact that Michael Jordan didn't win in the 1980s, He was basically a guy, a solo act, you might as well say, a guy who was extremely otherworldly talented, was labeled as selfish, and the talk was no guy who leads the league in scoring can win an NBA championship and shit, right? But yeah, Isaiah has a point. Mike wasn't winning in the 80s, man. A lot of people make the mistake, like, people want to use this narrative that Michael Jordan's career started in 1990, not knowing the fact that he had to go through the struggles and the tribulations of getting to the top and shit. You know what I mean? Becoming an NBA champ. You know, he had to go through the Boston Celtics. He had to go through. He had to beat the Bad Boy Pistons. And, from 1984 to 1990, he was struggling to do that. You know, and Isaiah on that end, Isaiah's not lying and shit. Isaiah's not lying. Michael Jordan did had to go through his. He did have his shortcomings, right up until his first chip in 1991 and shit, right? But it's like a lot of people see. Like I said, I know how Mike's career started and how it ended. You know what I mean? I know for a fact I could decipher from the fact that the argument for him being the greatest of all, him being the GOAT. People always want to use his arguments: 6 rings, 6-0, right? But they never lay into the fact that he's the first player to win MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. He has 10 scoring titles, right? He has 6 Finals MVPs, the most in the modern era, right? They never use that argument, man. That's how you can tell you got a lot of casuals around here, man. You know what I mean? So, but getting back to what Isaiah is saying, he's saying you can't be the GOAT if you're not leading you have any records statistically. Now that I disagree. You know what I mean? Just sheer dominance, you can put yourself in that conversation, right? Magic Johnson, he didn't dominate the stat sheet. You know what I mean? Though he had his share of triple doubles and shit. He didn't dominate the stat sheet, but a lot of people consider him top 5 of all time. A lot of people consider him top 5 of all time, you know? Like, a lot of things Mike accomplished, man, you know what I mean? 6 titles in 8 years, that's an accomplishment, you know? The 10 scoring titles. 10 scoring titles, you know? And the fact that he made the all defensive team each year in his prime that he went to the in his prime from like 88 to 93 and then from 96 to 98. So all in all, that's like 10 years, 10 straight years, almost 10 straight years he made the all defensive team. So Isaiah's saying that you can't be you can't be considered a GOAT if you don't have any statistical records. That's kind of way off. Because Mike does have statistical records, you know. Like I said, 10 scoring titles, you know what I mean? Averaged a triple double over the month of March of 1989 and shit, you know. And he's saying his competition is weak, right? Though I think people get that confused with the late 90s. Because you're referring to the late 90s, that I agree. Towards the end of the Bulls run, it did kind of sort of start to get watered down and shit. But during like the first four Bulls championships, the first 4 Bulls championships, first 4 Bulls championships, they did have some competition, man. You know, of course, you had the Pistons, you had the New York Knicks, you had later on down the line, Orlando Magic, Shaq and Penny, and you had those teams in the Central Division too, Indiana Pacers. Not the ones that met in the Eastern Conference Finals, but earlier on, you know. And you had the Cleveland Cavaliers, you know. So for me, it's like Isaiah's both right and wrong when trying to he's both right and wrong when he's trying to, you know, disparage Michael Jordan's career, you know what I mean? Like I said, I mean, like I don't know, man. He's telling a full. He's telling what he's saying is right, but at the same time, you got to think there may be some resentment there. You know, I'm not saying he has a right. He doesn't have a right to feel that way. You know, because I feel like some shit Mike did. You know, keep him off the dream team. You know what I mean, and all that shit. When Isaiah definitely deserved to be on that shit, right? I ain't gonna lie, that was some petty shit right there, man. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm not giving anybody a pass in the situation. You know what I mean? That was some petty shit. Some petty shit Mike did, man. You know what I mean? All because, you know, beef that should have been over a long time ago, you know? But, you know, it's just like, that's who Mike is, man, I guess. You know what I mean? Right or wrong and shit. Though I feel like the shit is, in my opinion, my personal opinion, the shit is petty, man. You know what I mean? Shit happened over 30 years ago, man. I think it's about time you let that shit go, you know? But it's like both sides are being real petty as fuck. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Isaiah needs to let go, needs to acknowledge the fact that Michael Jordan was a great player, whether or not he doesn't want to admit he's the GOAT now, you know what I mean? But and then, you know, Mike on Mike's end, man, they just need to let this shit go, man. Over 30 years of beef, and it's getting petty. It's getting the shit is getting real petty, man. You know? But let me know what y'all think. Like and subscribe and shit. And I'm gonna holler at y'all. Eat y'all up later.